And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
Service above self. I think this quote from President Kennedy is the view shared by all of us who have chosen to serve. It may seem like an enormous challenge when you're asked to serve above what you think your capabilities, ambitions, or even immediate dreams may be. But the knowledge that many before you have faced these same challenges and rose to the occasion will drive you onward.
Always had the dream of flying for the Navy. I thought the coolest thing in the world would be flying off aircraft carriers. So I went to the Naval Academy, successfully graduated in the class of 1980. Wanted to fly, passed my flight physical and all that stuff. And that year they decided that they were going to have a nuclear draft. So Admiral Rickover interviewed a bunch of people, turned a bunch of people down. And, I was a political science major. I figured there's no way in hell this guy's taking me. That's okay. And so one day we come back from our intramural sports or whatever it was, and there's a note on our desk. Congratulations, you have or / have not been selected for the Navy's nuclear power program. And it said I had been. And I thought somebody's playing a joke on me. And to this day, I don't know if it's clerical or not. But anyways, it's it'll be a challenge. But there's a lot of positives because you, in the end, you discover a lot of strengths that you maybe didn't know that existed within you as you try and overcome adversity. When I was a political science major and we were doing, nuclear physics equations, I wasn't too sure I was going to succeed in that endeavor. But eventually we did, and I'm happy to say that I spent 6 years active duty in the submarines. I think back on it as some of the best times in the Navy. And then I affiliated with the Navy Reserve and spent 24 years in the reserves. So I think that no matter what job you're given in the Navy, if you can have a positive attitude and remember that those you lead and those that are leading you are counting on you to get that one specific job done in the Navy, it'll always turn out for the better.
Service above self can take on many diverse meanings to each of you. At times, you may find yourself assigned to a cause that may not be your first choice. It is then that your mettle will be tested and your ability to accept the principle of service above self confirmed.
Initially, in October for service selection, I was told that I was chosen for submarines. I went on a submarine cruise for my first class cruise, and I had a great time, and I learned a lot on board. I was on an SSGN, and I came back, and for my preference sheet, medical corps was still what I wanted to do. It's what I wanted to do for years, but I put down submarines as my unrestricted line first choice. And I got the call in October that I was chosen for submarines, and initially it was a shock. It was my first unrestricted line choice, but I wanted to be a medical officer for years, and I just had to kind of take a step back, process it, and I just thought about being a submarine officer would be a great experience, and that I would get a lot of great training, meet a lot of wonderful people in the submarine community, and that regardless of whether this was the path I had dreamed about going in, it would make me a better naval officer. And I was looking forward to embracing the experience and taking all that I could to make me a better person and a better naval officer.
In our military, it is you who must persevere with honor, courage, commitment, and integrity to forge our Navy's future. You are tomorrow's veterans, and you have volunteered to wear the cloth of a grateful nation while courageously taking up the mantle of responsibility to keep America safe for future generations. Keep in mind CNO's words in which he says, "We are at an inflection point in the Navy. The drawdown in Iraq and Afghanistan and the economic deficit dictate a need for a new strategy. I expect you to work on the way ahead to apply the 3 tenets of warfighting first, operate forward, and be ready." CNO's words speak to his vision of our Navy's future, and frankly, there may be times when the 3 tenets take you out of your comfort zone. But as with other challenges, when putting service above self, These are the times when you, as Navy and Marine Corps officers, rise to overcome whatever circumstances are thrust upon you. Service above self should be the one value at the core of all of us, the one value we continually strive for. If service is the value you strive for most, it will not matter whether you're a pilot, a Marine, a surface warfare officer, or a submariner. You will find fulfillment in every duty assignment and every duty station because you will be making a difference.
When I was stationed in Parris Island, I had originally received orders to Camp Lejeune, which was good because I had 2 children, so that was going to be great. But then they changed my orders due to the Marine Corps' needs. So I got orders to Okinawa unaccompanied. So I had to go to Okinawa for what was supposed to be a 1-year tour, ended up being 2 years. So as a single parent, I had to figure out where I was going to put my children, who was going to take care of them. So I had to call my mom and say, okay, I have to go to Okinawa for a year. Will you take my children for me? So I was like, and she was like, do you really have to go? And I said, yes. I did consider getting out, but I had, 19 years left in. So, and I love the Marine Corps. So Marine Corps comes first. So I took the order to Okinawa, went to Okinawa. A year later, they were like, oh, by the way, you need to stay an additional year. So I had to call back home and say, okay, Marine Corps needs me. I have to stay here a whole nother year. So can you continue to watch my children? And then I had to talk to my kids and say, I'm not coming home. You're not going to see me for another year. So I had to deal with that too. But they knew how I felt about the Marine Corps and that the Marine Corps pretty much always came first. But then looking back on it, after I retired and everything, I had Marines that I could assist while I was there. I had a couple of Marines in particularly who wanted desperately to go to embassy duty. So I got them an interview with the Special Duties Monitor, got them recommendation letters, got them all the training that they needed in order to go to embassy duty. So I got a call after I retired saying that they got the embassy duty, and they did doing very well. They got promoted, so they were doing great. So looking back, and I knew that I had to put, service above self. Marine Corps comes first, as it always has, and probably always will. I think I made the right choice.
Every generation of heroes, including you, understands that gaining and keeping freedom is much more than simply an inalienable right. As each of you continue through your career and your lives, you will be faced with challenges, with triumphs, and with failures. But the only true failures are ones you don't learn from and the tasks you don't give everything you have. Freedom comes with sacrifices, and those costs have been shared through the ages by the combined efforts of all who have served before you, those who rose to meet the challenges and answered the call of service above self. My message to all of you today is to continue to carry the flag of responsibility that has been passed on to you. It is now your turn to serve, and I know you won't disappoint me, your country, or yourself as you continue to forge the Navy's future.
But freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same. And if you and I don't do this, then you and I may well spend our sunset years telling our children and our children's children what it once was like in America when men were free.